He wasn't walking. He wasn't waving. He was just there, standing in the dark like he'd always been there, like the road had grown him out of the desert floor. I almost didn't see him in time. It was somewhere past midnight. I'd been driving for 6 hours straight across the Nevada flatlands. And the kind of tired that settles into long-haul driving isn't the tired that makes you sleep. It's the tired that makes you numb. You stop noticing things. The road becomes wallpaper. That's the dangerous kind. But I noticed him. He was standing maybe 30 feet off the right shoulder, completely still, in a place where nothing should be still because nothing should be there. No car behind him. No lights anywhere. Just open scrubland and darkness in every direction. And this one man, standing like a fence post in the middle of it all. Something in my chest tightened before my brain could catch up. I slowed without deciding to. The closer I got, the worse the feeling became. Not fear exactly. More like that moment before a dog bites. That half second where your body knows before you do. He wasn't moving. At all. No shifting weight. No raised hand. No breath that I could see. The desert wind was moving the brush around him. He wasn't moving. And then I was level with him. I looked. He was already looking at me. Not turning to look. Not tracking my headlights. His face was already aimed at the exact point in space where my window would be when I passed. Like he'd calculated it. Like he'd been waiting for that specific moment, that specific angle, for however long he'd been standing there. His eyes were open. I accelerated hard, and I did not look back. What made it worse, what I keep coming back to, is what happened 15 minutes later. My CB radio crackled. Dead channel, no one on it, no reason for any signal. And then a sound came through that I have spent 3 years trying to unhear. Breathing. Slow, even, rhythmic breathing. In, out, in, out. Not static shaped like breathing. Breathing. Deliberate. Patient. Like something that had all the time in the world. It lasted maybe 20 seconds. Then silence. I grabbed the handset. My voice came out steadier than I felt. Anyone on this channel? Nothing. Anyone copy? Nothing. I drove the rest of the night with every light on and both hands locked on the wheel. I told myself there was an explanation. Told myself until I almost believed it. A stranded driver. A sleepwalker. Someone in shock from a breakdown I hadn't spotted. The CB was interference. It's always interference. These are the things you tell yourself at 3 in the morning on a road that doesn't end. Then it happened again. Same route, 6 weeks later. Same stretch of empty highway. I wasn't thinking about it anymore. I'd filed it away in the drawer where you put the things you don't want to examine too closely. The CB light blinked once. Then the breathing started. I looked at the road ahead. Empty. I looked in my mirrors. Empty. No figure on the shoulder. No shape in the dark. Nothing I could see. But the certainty that came over me in that moment, that cold, wordless, absolute certainty that I was not alone, was the most frightening thing about all of it. Because it wasn't the kind of fear you can reason your way out of. It came from somewhere deeper than reason. Somewhere older. I turned every light on and I drove. I still take that route. You do what the job requires. But I keep the CB off after midnight now. I don't slow down for figures on the shoulder. And I never look too long in the rearview mirror. Because once, just once, I'm not sure what I'd see looking back. She smelled like cold air and desert dust. That's the first thing I remember. Not her face. Not her voice. The smell. I'd been driving the same stretch of California highway for 11 years. Never once stopped for anyone on the shoulder. You learn that rule fast in this job. You keep moving, you call it in, you don't get involved. 11 years of following that rule. Then came one cold October night that made me forget it entirely. She was crouched in the gravel with a dim flashlight aimed at the road. Young. Dark hair. A jacket too thin for the temperature. Something about the way she was sitting, not panicked, not waving frantically, just waiting, patient and still, made me slow down before I'd even made the decision. I told myself it would be fine. Just a ride to the next town. She climbed in quietly, held her bag in her lap, and thanked me once. That was it. No nervous energy, no rushing words. Just a calm that felt, somehow, slightly off. Like the calm of someone who had already accepted something I didn't know about yet. For a while we just drove. The heater hummed. The desert rolled past the windows, black and endless. She stared straight ahead at the road, and I told myself the silence was just tiredness. People are tired at 3 in the morning. That's normal. Then she spoke. How long have you been driving this road? I told her. 11 years. She nodded slowly, like that meant something to her. I know this road well too, she said, quietly, almost to herself. Something felt wrong, not in a dramatic way, in a small, creeping way, like a smell you can't quite place. I asked her name. She told me. I asked where she was headed. She answered. Everything she said was ordinary, but none of it felt ordinary. Her voice had a flatness to it. Not cold, not unfriendly, just distant. Like she was reading from a script she'd memorized a long time ago. Then she said, I've been on this road longer than I should have been. I glanced at her. Her face hadn't moved. What do you mean? I asked. She didn't answer, just kept looking at the road ahead. What made it worse was that I didn't push it. Something stopped me. The same instinct that makes you not look into a dark hallway. Some quiet, animal part of my brain decided it didn't want to know. We drove another 20 minutes without speaking. The highway lights of the next town finally appeared in the distance. That orange glow on the horizon that feels like salvation when you've been in the dark long enough. I exhaled without realizing I'd been holding my breath. I pulled into a lit parking lot and stopped the engine. I turned to tell her we'd arrived. The seat was empty. Not almost empty. Not like she'd slipped out quietly. Completely empty. Door closed. Bag gone. The seatbelt hung loose, unclipped, perfectly still. I hadn't heard anything. I hadn't felt the cab shift. I sat there for a long time. Long enough for the lot to feel very small and the darkness outside very large. I don't have a clean explanation. I've tried to build one for 2 years, and I can't make the pieces fit. What I keep coming back to, the thing I can't reason away, is something I noticed only later when I was back on the road trying to process what had happened. I drive with the heat aimed at both seats equally. Force of habit from years of solo driving. The passenger vent had been redirected, angled away from the window, aimed inward toward the center of the seat, like someone had adjusted it to stay warm. I don't know when she did it. I don't know if she was cold. I don't know what needs to stay warm after it's already gone. I just know I drove the rest of the night with that vent aimed straight at the windshield, and I haven't touched the passenger side controls since. I saw it in the mirror first. That's the part that stays with me. Not ahead of me, behind me, like it had been there for a while before I noticed. I've driven night routes through the Utah desert for going on 14 years. I know what animals look like on the side of a highway. I know how coyotes move, how deer freeze, how the occasional elk will stand at the tree line like a ghost and watch you pass. I know all of it. This wasn't any of that. It was large, low to the ground, moving on 4 limbs, but with a rhythm that felt wrong in a way I still can't properly describe. Not injured, not running, just moving, smooth and deliberate, at exactly the speed I was driving. I checked the speedometer. 68 miles an hour. I looked back in the mirror. It was still there, still the same distance behind me. Not gaining, not falling back, matching me. The first thing I did was reason with myself. That's what you do. Your brain reaches for the nearest normal explanation and holds on tight. Big dog, maybe. Loose from somewhere. Running along the shoulder. It happens. But a dog doesn't run 68 miles an hour. Nothing runs 68 miles an hour. I pressed the accelerator. 72. 75. I watched the mirror. It sped up. Something cold moved through my chest. Not panic. Something quieter than panic. Something that felt more like recognition. Like part of me understood what this was before the rest of me was ready to. I turned my eyes back to the road and gripped the wheel and tried to think clearly. The landscape out there was everything Utah does at night. Red rock and shadow. A sky so wide and dark it makes you feel very small and very exposed. No other vehicles. No lights anywhere. Just the road and whatever was behind me. I reached for the CB. I don't know exactly why. Maybe just to hear another human voice. I said I was on the highway north of the canyon stretch, and there was something behind my truck I couldn't identify. I said it had been keeping pace with me for several miles. I asked if anyone was out there. The response came fast. Too fast, almost, for someone who'd just happened to be listening. A man's voice. Steady. Quiet. Don't use your brakes. Keep your speed. Don't look directly at it. I asked who he was. He didn't answer that. Just keep driving, he said. Stay on the road. Don't stop for anything. Then silence. I want to tell you, I kept my eyes forward after that. I want to tell you, I was disciplined about it. But there's a point where the instinct to look becomes stronger than reason, and I hit that point about 10 miles later. I looked. The shape had moved closer to the center of the road. My taillights caught part of it. Dark, low, fluid in a way that living things usually aren't. Its head, if it was a head, was angled upward, toward my mirrors, toward me. I looked away. I didn't look again. I drove, both hands on the wheel. I straight ahead, jaw tight enough to ache. Miles passed. The road climbed and curved. And slowly, so slowly, the darkness ahead began to change. A faint orange glow on the horizon. Highway lights. A junction. Civilization. I checked the mirror one final time when the lights came into view. Empty road. As far back as I could see. Gone. I pulled over at the first lit stop I found and sat for a long time without moving. My hands were shaking in a way I hadn't noticed while I was driving. The kind of shaking that only starts once the danger is over and your body finally lets itself react. I never found out who the man on the CB was. I never heard that voice again. What I keep thinking about, the thing I can't file away, is how fast he answered. Like he wasn't waiting for a distress call. Like he was waiting for that specific call. Like he already knew what was out there on that road. And if he already knew, then how many times had he answered before?